Number 1. An unidentified assassin ambushed Belle Starr. Belle Starr, perhaps more of an accomplice to criminals than a criminal herself, had her fair share of brushes with the law. Although she faced a conviction for horse theft that landed her in jail for 9 months, she never again found herself on the wrong side of the law. Nevertheless, she had a knack for surrounding herself with outlaws and shady characters, including 2 husbands who met their demise in gunfights. Her years of associating with unsavory characters eventually caught up to her. While on her way back home one fateful day, Starr was shot in the back not once but twice. The identity of her assailant remains shrouded in mystery. Various rumors swirled around her tragic end, and in one version of the tale, her very own son, Ed, was rumored to be involved in the incident. Number 2. Wild Bill Hickok met his end when shot from behind while grasping the dead man's hand. The legendary figure known as Wild Bill Hickok carved his name in history with tales of facing down 3 would-be assailants, a story that found its way into a magazine. His reputation as a gunslinger grew, marked by a series of duels, until a tragic accident led to the death of his own deputy. As time passed, Wild Bill's star began to dim, and he found himself struggling to make ends meet. His livelihood depended on his card-playing skills in the town of Deadwood, South Dakota, where fate would finally catch up with him one fateful August day. Unbeknownst to him, as he sat with his back to the saloon's entrance, a young gunslinger named Jack McCall entered and fired a single fatal shot into the back of Wild Bill's head. Despite attempting to return fire, all of his other rounds misfired. At that moment, Wild Bill held in his hand a pair of aces and eights, a combination that has since become infamous as the dead man's hand. Number 3. The possible demise of Butch Cassidy and the Sundance Kid. When you think of Butch Cassidy and the Sundance Kid, it's hard not to conjure up images of the young Paul Newman and Robert Redford, but the real lives of these 2 legendary outlaws were just as intriguing. With each robbery raking in an average of $35,000, Cassidy's gang, known as the Wild Bunch, proved nearly untouchable. Butch's meticulous planning before every job was their secret weapon. Yet, after years of criminal exploits, Butch and the Sundance Kid made an audacious decision to leave it all behind and seek a fresh start in South America. They managed to keep a low profile until an ill-fated attempt to grab a payroll in Bolivia. The Bolivian cavalry besieged the house where they were hiding, resulting in a fierce gunfight that left one of the men injured, supposedly Sundance Kid. That night, the echoing report of 2 gunshots rang out, and the lifeless bodies were discovered. Sundance Kid with a bullet squarely between his eyes, and Cassidy with a self-inflicted gunshot wound to his temple. But controversy still surrounds their demise. Many claim to have spotted Cassidy alive and well in the years that followed. Number 4. In a shadowy bedroom, Sheriff Pat Garrett ended Billy the Kid's outlaw days. Billy the Kid, a mere teenager at 18, had already taken a dark path, with a tally of up to 17 murders to his name. He remained on the run, his life hanging by a thread. Several years later, Sheriff Pat Garrett successfully apprehended Billy, ensuring he faced justice. Billy was tried, found guilty, and sentenced to the gallows. However, just days before his scheduled execution in 1881, Billy managed a daring escape, leaving 2 guards dead in his wake. Pat Garrett embarked on a relentless pursuit, tracking Billy for 3 grueling months until a tip finally revealed the fugitive's hideout. Garrett quietly infiltrated the shadowy confines of Billy's bedroom at the Maxwell Ranch in New Mexico, biding his time. When Billy entered the room, Garrett acted swiftly, his gunshot echoing through the night, ending the kid's outlaw days. As with the demises of countless Wild West legends, conspiracy theories abounded. Was it truly Billy who met his end that night, or an imposter who bore a striking resemblance to the 21-year-old? In the years that followed, 2 men emerged, each claiming to be the legendary Billy the Kid, but their assertions remained unverifiable. Number 5, Annie Oakley succumbed to anemia, and her husband likely passed away from heartache. Just 18 days later, Annie Oakley, celebrated far and wide as an expert sharpshooter, earned her place as a Wild West icon, touring with Buffalo Bill's Wild West show for many years. Yet before she became the legendary Annie Oakley, she was simply Annie Mosey, a 16-year-old gifted in the art of sharpshooting. During a visit to her sister's place, a local innkeeper organized a trap shooting contest against a seasoned exhibition shooter, Frank Butler. The challenge was to hit the most clay pigeons out of 25 attempts. Frank managed to break 24, Annie shattered all 25. Frank was captivated, and the two tied the knot shortly thereafter. Their union lasted for nearly 5 decades, until Oakley's health deteriorated, ultimately succumbing to anemia. The circumstances of Butler's death remain a mystery, but his passing a mere 18 days after Oakley's suggests that heartbreak may have played a significant role. In the end, they found their final resting place side by side in Oakley's family burial plot. Number 6. At a mere 36 years old, Doc Holliday succumbed to tuberculosis. Originally a dentist hailing from Texas, John Henry Doc Holliday found himself drawn to the allure of card games, setting him on a divergent course. He forged close bonds with Wild West icons like Wyatt Earp, engaging in numerous shootouts, high-stakes card games, and indulging in heavy bouts of drinking. This latter vice exacerbated his pre-existing tuberculosis, progressively worsening his health. In a desperate bid to combat his deteriorating condition, Holliday sought refuge in the confines of a sanitarium nestled in Glenwood Springs, Colorado. Sadly, in the year 1887, he breathed his last breath in that very sanitarium, passing away at the tender age of 36. Number 7. A tearful farewell. Hollywood's cowboy icons mourned Wyatt Earp's passing. Back in the 1800s, Wyatt Earp wasn't exactly a household name. His fame skyrocketed only after his passing, when a gripping biography detailing his daring escapades, including the famous OK Corral shootout, hit the stands. As the sun began to set on his life and his days of gunslinging in the Wild West faded into the past, Earp found himself in Los Angeles. There, he lent his expertise as an unpaid advisor to the emerging Western film genre, forming close bonds with silver screen legends like William Hart and Tom Mix. So close, in fact, that when Wyatt Earp breathed his last in 1929, both Hart and Mix served as pallbearers at his funeral. It's said that Mix, in particular, couldn't hold back his tears during the solemn ceremony,